So this is a story about a man who didn't just want a job. Nope. He wanted to shape the very soul of his nation. We're talking about NFS Grundtvig, a priest, a poet, and a political fighter who believed a country's identity was something truly worth fighting for.
Okay, so our story really kicks off with a pretty straightforward problem. Grundtvig needed a position, a pulpit, a place where people would actually listen to him. And to get that, he had to go straight to the top. We're talking an audience with King Frederik himself. But as you can imagine, the king was not an easy man to win over.
Oof, cold, direct, and just shut down. You can almost feel the tension, can't you? Here's Grundtvig, full of fire and big ideas, and he runs smack into a brick wall of royal bureaucracy. This was clearly never going to be just a simple job application.
Right, because getting the job was just the first hurdle. The real fight, the one that would basically define his entire life, was a battle of ideas. It was a fight over a single, powerful question that, honestly, every nation has to ask itself.
And listen, this wasn't some quiet academic debate in a stuffy room somewhere. Not at all. This was a high-stakes conflict for the intellectual heart of Denmark, and it pitted two really powerful visions of the world directly against each other.
At the very center of it all was this fundamental disagreement. What's more important? The specific, unique identity of your own nation, or these big, universal truths that are supposed to apply to everyone, everywhere?
So here you see the two opposing camps, clear as day. On one side, you have Grundtvig. He's arguing that some abstract, universal truth is pretty much meaningless on its own. He believed you can only find that truth through your own people's story, through your mother tongue. But his rival, Stephens, he saw it completely differently. For him, the universal was a higher ideal, something pure and totally separate from any one nation's culture.
This right here, this was Grundtvig's core belief. He wasn't throwing the idea of the universal out the window, not at all. He was just saying that the only path to get there was through the national. To be a true citizen of the world, you first had to be deeply, deeply rooted in your own home. And again, this was not a friendly chat over coffee. The source material describes it as a fierce clash. I mean, the debate got so heated, it was actually threatening to create this massive rift among the country's most important thinkers. The stakes were just incredibly high.
So, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Well, you don't really get a winner. You get a truce. A fragile, totally necessary compromise just to keep everything from completely falling apart.
To stop things from shattering completely, the key players, we're talking Grundtvig, the poet Oehlenschläger, and the sculptor Thorvaldsen, they formed what the text calls a friendship pact. It was really a strategic move to show everyone they were a united front, even if they still disagreed behind closed doors. An uneasy peace was declared. Now, after fighting this huge battle at home, Grundtvig does something pretty fascinating. He looks beyond Denmark's borders for inspiration. He turns to the intellectual powerhouse of the time, Germany, to find new fuel for his argument. But he wasn't trying to copy Germany. Not at all. He was studying its spirit, its philosophy, its theology, its art, and he was looking for tools and ideas that he could then adapt to strengthen his own vision for a uniquely Danish national identity. He basically created this intellectual roadmap for himself through German thought. From Martin Luther, he took that revolutionary idea of faith being expressed in the people's own language, which empowers individuals. From Goethe, he saw a perfect model of a national genius, proof that a specific culture could create art that had universal appeal. And from the philosopher Fichte, he absorbed this powerful concept of a nation having its own unique spiritual mission in the world. He was literally building an arsenal of ideas. So, when we step back and look at the whole picture, we see Grundtvig wasn't just one thing, was he? He was a savvy political operator, angling for a meeting with the king. He was a fierce, passionate debater, fighting for his vision of what a nation should be. And maybe most surprisingly, he was a broad pan-European thinker, drawing inspiration from all over the continent to ultimately serve his very specific, very national cause.
And all this leaves us with the exact same question that drove Grundtvig's entire life, a question that is just as relevant for us today. How do we define ourselves? Do we look inward at our own unique story, or do we look outward to the universal ideas that connect us all? For Grundtvig, the answer was crystal clear. You can't have one without the other. You absolutely have to do both.